Welcome back, or I guess welcome.
Yeah, this is the first one.
Welcome to the Slumber Party podcast.
Because we're adults and we deserve slumber parties too.
Just that we do.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not like a weird like Dora the Explorer situation where we're all like, "Welcome to our slumber party. What's your favorite color?
Can you find the blue mountain?" Yeah, no.
But you're invited to our slumber party.
Every week, every Thursday, we have a slumber party.
We have a slumber party.
We come over, we hang out, we talk to you guys. We talk about life things that interest us.
We talk about all the things that you talk about at slumber parties. We talk about secrets. We talk about probably things that people shouldn't usually talk about, like bodily functions. I like to talk about those a lot. So
I mean, everybody has a body.
Yeah.
That's
Everybody
has a body.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. Whatever you identify as or are, you do have a body.
You have a body.
Your body does things.
It has one. Just saying.
But yeah, slumber party topics and other things like that. But who are we? What are we?
Well...
Also,
God, I hate it when people ask me that question.
I know, I'm sorry. Quick disclaimer, you will see a cat tree in the back here. It's because I have 5 cats. If you hear a cat screaming, sorry.
That's what happens because, we're both cat owners, but this is Michelle's house. This is Michelle, by the way.
Yeah, hi, I'm Michelle.
Hi.
This is Kat.
Hi, not to be confused with the cats.
No, it's a K.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a K.
It's a K, not a C. But yes, sure, her name is Kat. We have cats. A lot of cats. We both like cats. Mm-hmm. She has a tattoo of a cat.
I do. Do you want to see it? Sorry, podcaster people.
Sorry for Spotify listeners who can't see us.
Sorry.
But Kat is currently lifting up her leg.
Look us up on YouTube.
Oh, so cute.
Also, that's my cat socks.
Also, that's my bed. So.
Yeah, so hey.
Hey. Yeah, we are recording in my room because
we're millennials and we're broke and we don't know how to live our lives like millionaires because we haven't read enough BuzzFeed articles.
Daddy's money.
Oh my God, stop. You're going to offend somebody.
Sorry. If you have daddy's money, I mean, congratulations. You were born into a privileged life. I hope you're happy. Anyway, so this episode is going up on Halloween, so...
Oh, yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I love Halloween. Halloween is honestly one of my favorite holidays.
Dude, same.
And I'm sorry if you hear my mouse in the background. I don't have a mouse pad. I will stop scraping it against the desk now.
Some people are into that, so...
ASMR.
Stop.
Yep.
We're both theater people. We liked that in high school. And still sing along today, but don't really participate anymore.
No, group activities suck.
Going outside of my house sucks.
Agreed.
But I'm also, not in my house right now, so this doesn't suck.
My house is your house, though.
Oh.
It has been since high school. Speaking of, we've known each other since high school.
Yeah, we've been best friends for, over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah. The 2019-2020 school year is the year we met, so this is... No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. This is a decade.
Sure.
This is a decade this year, so, because we met when you were a freshman and I was a sophomore in high school, which my sister was a senior at that point in time, so that was no, it is 11 years this year. Doing math wrong, because she graduated the 08.
I'm just happy to be here, okay?
No, it's 11, because she graduated 08-09 year, and that's when you were a freshman.
Anyway.
Yeah, so 11 years. We've known each other for 11 years. We've been best friends pretty much the entire time.
Yep.
So
we know each other pretty well. And now, guess what? You're our new best friend.
Yep, you are our new best friends. All of you.
Okay.
Anybody who's watching this. Probably right now, mostly friends and coworkers. Shouts out to you, Stan.
Wait, do we know a Stan?
My office mates need a Stan.
Oh, yeah! I'm sorry, Stan. Oh, he's probably not going to watch this.
Oh, no, he's definitely going to watch this.
He's going to watch it.
Yeah. She got so excited she choked.
Stan, I'm so sorry.
I mean, to be fair, you've met him like twice, so.
Well, I want to sing karaoke with him.
True.
So.
We should do that sometime.
Yeah.
That being said, we do work for the same company.
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We work in mental health.
That's what we do for people.
Super fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, but also,
yeah. Mental health is important.
It really is. And it's very underfunded, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, I've said but yeah like so many times already.
That's because butts are always on your mind.
I mean, you're not wrong. I am a butt person.
Hey.
Yeah. So we do live in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. We have lived here, specifically in Washington, all of our lives. Yep. Kat grew up on the east side of the state, and I grew up on the west. She moved over here 11, 12?
When I was just before my 13th birthday.
Okay, so 12.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it's funny because what people don't know a lot is if you're not from Washington, the west and east side are like two completely different states. Yeah. So the perspective is different from growing up, but together, I mean, it works out. We're great friends.
Yeah, man.
But in the honor of Halloween, we wanted to talk about the paranormal, the spooky.
Because this is a slumber party, so we're gonna say scary stories.
Yeah. But we're gonna tell you some scary stories of things that have actually happened to us.
Because we tried creepypastas and we found out that we can actually get flagged for that, so.
Let's not do that for our first podcast. Anyway, yeah. So I am a believer of the paranormal. I always have been. My house growing up was haunted by a family member, so I guess we can start there with my first experience.
Yeah, I mean, well, we should probably give some background first, because, you know, like just me and you, new best friend. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I do believe in the paranormal. I don't want to.
We both just burped at the same time.
Aw, we're so in sync.
Friend goals! That doesn't work. Yeah.
But no, it did. For those listening and not watching, we just shook pinkies.
Yep.
In an awkward but smooth enough way.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, no, I don't want to believe in the paranormal, but I do. Just because I've had too much stuff happen in my life that has been really freaky. And it's Halloween, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and say that everything is because of the paranormal, and it's not because of any other reason. Sure. It's not realistic. I don't know. I'm trying to create hype.
Well, I mean, it depends on which route you want to go. Mm-hmm. If you go the religious route, then there's angels, demons, all that kind of stuff. There's an afterlife, so there is somewhere to go after we die. So if somebody maybe has unfinished business, like the ghost whisperer, or like all that kind of stuff, or like the negative energy that's manifested of somebody's anger or whatever stays behind, is what creates those almost time imprints. That is one argument.
I'm not particularly religious, but the way that I've kind of had the way that I've kind of viewed the universe around me for a while is just that, you know, everything is made up of some kind of energy, like scientifically speaking. And I don't just mean like, yes, Michelle's alive, so she's energy. But you know, just like it's I don't know how to fully explain it, but like every piece of matter has energy, and like you know, atoms and how quickly they move or how little they move. So there's a different like the reason why when my hand touches an inanimate object such as a table that I'm touching right now, you can't see it or hear it, but I'm doing that. There's a reason why my hand doesn't completely fall through that tabletop, and that's because there is a certain amount of energy within this table. It's not alive, but the atoms within that table are moving enough to the point where they react with the atoms in my hand, and so that's creating kind of like a friction between the two. So there's energy all around you. Everything is made up of energy, and spirituality or religion is just how you communicate with that energy. Yeah. So for some people that's, you know, through a specific deity. And that's awesome. That's just how they communicate with the energy around them. That's how they understand the language that they speak and understand the energy around them. And some people just kind of like, like agnostics.
Hi.
Hello. Agnostics are just kind of like, there's something. There's definitely like energy around me, and like, I communicate with that by whatever code that I go by, like however I interact with people or like the things around me or just whatever makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I believe that spirits and ghosts and positive and negative energies are like footprints.
Yeah.
But also, I do think that if enough positive energy or negative energy or any kind of specific energies put into one specific spot, then that energy can collect together and manifest something. And I'm not saying it like anything like, demons or anything like that's how demons start, but like, because I just don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
This is just my best guess.
I mean, isn't that really what we're all doing in life? Guessing.
I mean, like, yeah, but
yeah.
I want to be right.
Like I said, I do believe in the paranormal. I believe that ghosts are a thing, and that can be a thing, mainly because when I was very young, when I lived at my old house, not the one we currently live in, the bedroom that I shared with my sister, we both talked about and spoke about the man in the corner of the room. He was just a guy. He stood there. I didn't get any like negative or positive. He was just there.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but he was there. You knew he was there. It was his corner. We never really put anything there because that was his corner.
There.
Little did I know, I find out later on in life that my dad's grandfather had died in our bedroom when my dad was like a teenager or something like that. My dad was actually there to see the death. And there was something else involved with that, but I don't really want to get into that because I don't know if my dad would be all that excited that I shared that. But yeah, so he died in that room, and when I saw a picture of him as an adult, not an adult, like a preteen, I was like, that's the man from the corner.
No!
And my mom was like, what do you mean? And I was like, in the corner of our old room, there was this guy that stood there, that was him. She was like, that's your great-grandfather.
Oh, no!
So, yeah. So that's where he died. That's where he was. I mean, after about the age of, like, I want to say, probably once I started school, he kind of started to go away. Like, he wouldn't show up as often. So it's one of those, I feel like he was, like, looking out for us, like, throughout our childhood. And then once we were kind of, like, getting to be independent and all that kind of stuff, he was like, okay, goodbye. So, yeah. I don't know if any of you have ever played Stardew Valley, but there's this one whole thing that your grandpa will appear to you, sorry, spoilers, in your third year, and if you do well enough, he's like, I can leave the farm for you, goodbye, disappears. I kind of feel like that's kind of like what it was. Not like I had to build a farm and, like, all that kind of stuff, but, like, just, he looked out for us when we were really young.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Yeah.
That's really
so
cute.
That is more of why I feel like, obviously, like, the impressions or ghosts or whatever, like, I don't really feel like he was a ghost, because I don't feel like he was tied there. It was literally just one of those, like, looking out for the grandkids.
I wonder, like, yeah, I don't know. Whenever the topic of, like, ancestors watching over, like, the next generations comes up, I just imagine these people, like, kind of passing away, and they're like, cool, gonna go to the afterlife now? And then they're like, they come to realize that, like, they just kind of, they're here, and they have, like, that John Travolta meme moment, where they're just kind of like...
For those who are listening and not watching, we just held our hands up and looked around confused.
Look up the John Travolta meme, alright? But yeah, and then they just kind of go...
Alright, I guess I'm still here.
Okay. I guess I'll just,
guess we'll just stand in this corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's another thing involving that also kind of showed me the darker side of it, like the demon side of it. So, like I said, that's not sexy, it's terrifying. I won't get into it too much. My personal belief is that one of my ancestors, I don't know if they, like, sold their soul to something or whatever, but like I feel like there was like almost like a curse following my family for a long time. Like that's really like superstitious and like probably not a big thing, but like all the men on that side of the family would die really, really young. Like my great great grandfather died at 58, my grandfather died at 58. Both my uncle and my dad have now made it past that age, but
I'm really happy about that.
yeah, I mean, me too. I love my dad.
Your dad's really great.
My dad's great.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things. Like I feel like it was looking for something. Maybe it got it. I don't even know, to be honest. So
maybe it was like a Madame Zeroni kind of thing.
You must take my child up the hill, feed it water. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what it wanted or what happened?
5 cats at one point in time.
Yeah. But my dad, who is sort of a religious person, like, he had an experience with a sort of demon-esque thing, which he would not readily admit to if it didn't actually happen, so... Because he doesn't really believe in the supernatural.
Okay,
but
wait.
Had that experience.
If you have told me this, it was a long time ago, and I don't remember.
Okay, so basically, when my grandfather died, or right before he died... Sorry, our sound machine just went off, and I don't know if you guys will be able to hear, but we could hear in our ears. As I began to talk about that, that was weird. Anyway.
Also just hyper vigilant, because, you know, talking about spooky stuff close to Halloween, what could go wrong?
Everything. So before my grandfather died, literally, like, before he died, my dad, at our old house, there was this hallway that had a heater outside of it, and my dad was very cold. So he laid down in front of the heater, tried to warm up, had a blanket over him, made a, basically like a puffy, like, air blanket pillow. Like, we did it a lot as kids. It was really, really fun to do it, because it was so warm, but also you like had a giant parachute. Side story. Anyway, so he was there, and he just remembered it getting colder and colder and colder, and he looked up and looked down at the end of the hallway, and there was just this figure standing there with, like, red eyes. Bright red eyes. My dad, I don't remember the line that was, but he quoted something from the Bible, like, in the name of Jesus Christ, Satan, get behind me, basically. Something along those lines. Go back
from whence you came.
Yeah, something. And it kind of, like, advanced towards him, and he repeated it, and eventually it dissipated. Then his grandfather passed. So, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like, I don't know if I don't know if it was looking for him or like whatever, or if it couldn't get to him. That's why he was stuck in the room. Like, I honestly don't know. But
how old was your dad?
Oh, he was like in his 20s. Like, he wasn't that old. Actually, I think he was a teenager. Yeah, he was pretty young. Yeah. Side note: that grandfather's last words were "shit." So. That's a family. Yeah, so I don't know if it was looking for something or if it's like...
Probably just trying to freak people out.
I don't know, maybe it was like an opportunity, like walking through and like, oh look, a soul about to die. Let me grab it on my way. Like, I don't know.
There's just this demon on its way to the grocery store, to the soul grocery store, and it's just like, you know, with its little demon shopping cart. It's just kind of being like, oh, yeah, this Greg right here is just nice and ripe for the taking. We're gonna pop that in my cart. Oh, and a perfect Rick too. Oh, maybe not quite right. Okay,
keep going. Yeah, Craig. Anyway, that was not my grandfather's name. I don't actually know what his name was, to be honest. Oh,
there's a baby.
There's my cat crying.
Oh, she's crying.
She yelled. She screamed. Anyway, so that was kind of...
Hold on. What's gonna happen?
Fiona, come here. Come
here. This is Fiona.
This is Fiona.
Fiona, say some nice things for the people listening.
She just wants to sleep and be held. Will you help me with my...
No.
Okay.
Yeah, here. Headphones going back on. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So that was kind of my introduction to the paranormal in a way. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And we've always also had cats. So, cats are a pretty good indicator for any animal. Really is a good indicator for anything spooky. Dogs, I feel like, freak me out more because they'll, like, growl at it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I've got a couple of my own paranormal stories, but like I get really uncomfortable talking about them because I just don't want to address things that freak me out. Anyway.
Who really, like, enjoys being scared? Like, ooh, these are my personal experiences. They're terrifying.
Let me talk about that. Well, probably a lot of people.
You want to go?
Work in mental health. But oh god,
you can't.
Please,
you're gonna step on the computer.
Do not rub yourself against the mic.
She's like, is my podcast, is mine. Okay, we're gonna go down.
Okay.
No more screaming.
Hi, Fiona. Her name's Fiona.
Yep. And it's Fiona after Adventure Time, not Shrek.
Although Shrek was a very close contender.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody just likes to say that.
It wasn't, but it was.
No. Yep. But I also thought she was a boy when we first got her, so her name was initially Finn. But
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
or I forgot it. Anyway, so related to dogs and ghosts, I have a friend who, when he lived in his parents' house, he had this super gorgeous, super well-behaved German Shepherd named Nico, and she was just really attuned to people all the time. So whenever you talk to her, she like looked at you. She didn't like, with some dogs, they'll just kind of like look at you in your general direction, and some dogs will like look right into your eyes.
Into your soul.
Yeah. And she was one of those dogs who did that. And so he was just kind of like hanging out downstairs, and like there's been a few weird things that have happened in his basement at this point. But he was just kind of like hanging out with her downstairs, and she was in front of him, and when she looked up at him, like he would say something, and then she would snap her head just to the
Ooh.
up, like right and up.
Ooh, you've never told me this story. I just have chills. Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, she would snap her head up like somebody was saying her name, like somebody was calling her. Ooh, and so he would just be like, "No, Miko, what? Like Miko, like," and then she would kind of like look at him for a little bit and be like, "What do you want?" Like,
I'm looking at the thing.
Yeah.
Why aren't you looking at the thing?
Yeah, and then he would kind of turn around. There's nothing there, but Oof. Yeah, I also have a fiance. He's pretty great. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
and I love
she's
him.
taken ladies and gentlemen and our non-binary friends
and everybody else who's also awesome. He is friends with this person as well, and has had like sleepovers there. And in that very same basement.
I hate basements.
You're welcome.
Ugh.
You live in one, so
I don't live in a basement. I live downstairs. Not underground. I'm like partially underground. I can see outside.
Half basement.
It's not even half. It's like a quarter of a basement, maybe.
Anyway.
Just enough for ants to get in, anyway.
Ants.
Goddamn ants.
Okay. Fiance used to spend the night at this guy's house in the very same basement. I guess there was one night where, I'm trying to remember correctly, everyone, I think, had gone to sleep. And then he just kind of, like, just in the middle of the night, just kind of, like, opened his eyes a little bit. And it was just around the doorway. There was black, but there was this blue outline figure of somebody kind of like,
oh god,
hanging over.
For those of you who can't see, she's creeping around a door handle.
Yeah,
with very claw hands.
Just kind of like half of the face kind of sticking out.
Oh, I don't like that.
From the side of the
door frame.
Door frame. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so great.
Thanks.
And like he could see the outlines of the individual figures.
Oh, gross.
And then he was just kind of like, what the? Can we swear on this?
I mean, I don't give a shit.
Yay! He was just kind of like, I mean, I think he was probably like in middle school or high school, but he was like, all right, what the fuck is this? Like half asleep. And so then like he just like,
God, I don't like that.
And then he goes and like turns the lights on and then turns them back off and it's still there.
Oh, Oh.
And then
no, thank you, ma'am.
He just like kind of like sees it slowly
God.
go back behind the wall.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
Real bad. So
no, gross. No, not
you know,
he
was like, fuck this shit, I'm out, and then like just kind of rolled over and went to sleep.
That would be his reaction. Not let's wake everybody up and move locations. Nah, I'm just gonna roll over, go back to sleep. I was actually
no,
totally not a paranormal thing, but I was talking to your fiance the other day, and he was telling about when he dislocated his jaw while he was sleeping, and he just popped it back into place and went ow, and then rolled back over, went to sleep. And I made a joke. I was like, somebody could break in, stab him, and he'd be like, ow, how dare you? Pull out the knife and be like, I was sleeping, and roll back over and go to sleep. I'll go to the hospital in the morning.
He's surprisingly like aware of crisis responses when he's just waking up. I don't know, he's really good.
He also sleeps like he's dead in general, so.
Oh god, he talks in his sleep too.
He says some weird things while he's sleeping.
We can have another episode on that, like okay, maybe not just on that.
You talk in your sleep too.
I don't. Not much. I feel like a mumble.
You talk in your sleep, but recently, can I say his name? Will he care?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, he's been on YouTube, so.
Yeah.
No, so in her sleep. We do sleep over with each other a lot. Like, we have since high school, but even in our adult lives, we still.
Say it like that. We do sleepovers with each other.
I mean, it's like a thing. Like, you get your 20s, people are like, sleep over at my friend's house. I go home, and I'm like, no, sleepovers are fun. So, like, she'll be sleeping, and like, I'll just hear her roll over. She'll just go, Dan, which is what she does when he does something that annoys her. But it's so funny because I'd be like,
no, that's where you were going with it.
Oh no, it was nothing else. It was just literally, like one night you're just like, Dan, and I was like, what are you dreaming about? Probably him being loud. So
probably, yeah. He is any individual who has a partner who is involved in a lot of gaming communities will understand whenever you're just trying to have your quiet time watching Parks and Recreation, and then just like down the hall you hear, oh, what the hell? No, I got him. He's cheating. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Constantly, among other things, very creative profanities.
Yeah, no, he's very creative with the swear words that he comes up with. My favorite combination of swear words is a breakfast food combined with some kind of like, any swear word will do, but a swear word referring to some kind of like bodily part or body function. Not even genitalia. Like, you can go with like, I don't know. You're an omelet weenus.
I mean, yeah, his breakfast swear word body part is a very interesting combination.
Yeah, I mean, like his favorite throughout the years has been cock waffle, but yeah, that's a whole. We could do an episode on swear words.
We could.
And just like insults in general.
We'd have to have Dan as a guest for that because he is
we would
beautiful.
Yes. Oh, he's
master of creative swear words.
Master of language, really. You'll see.
But not a lot of it. Just certain words.
Mm-hmm.
Changed around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, paranormal.
Yes. Yeah. Back to the. Back to the spooky. Yeah, to the spookies. I'm trying to think of like a breakfast food swear word ghost combination.
Cinnamon butt plug ghost. I don't know. What the hell? I don't know. For those of you who can't see, she just put her head down the desk because it was too much. Anyway. Probably my most scariest interaction with the paranormal was in my first apartment that nobody liked to come over to because it was scary.
Yeah.
But nobody could tell me why.
It sucked.
Yeah. It was not a very big apartment, as your first apartment never usually is. And
it was really nice, though.
It was very nice. It was very expensive for no reason.
It had a spiral staircase.
It did have a spiral staircase, and I lived with my other best friend at the time, and he wanted to live in the loft upstairs, which was up the spiral staircase, and I was like, chill, that's fine. I will fall down that because I'm not coordinated. And he was like, dope. So he lived upstairs, and I lived in the bedroom downstairs, and my bedroom downstairs didn't have a light. And for some reason, I never bought one for that room the entire time that I lived there. I didn't want a light. And I worked night shift at the time. I worked night shift for about 5 years, I want to say. And so did he. And so it worked out just fine. But on the days that he would be gone, and I would go to bed at nighttime instead of staying awake, whenever I would close my door, it was just this thing that I was like, okay, once I close my door, I'm not leaving my room again until it's daytime. I couldn't tell you why I thought that way, or, like, what my thought process led to that. I was just like, yep, once I go to bed, I'm not leaving until the morning.
This is the rule. This is what is going to happen.
Yeah. And then, like, things would happen in the apartment, like, my roommate would lose his keys in the apartment, which made no sense because it was only about 600 square feet. And it was very small. There weren't places to lose your keys, but we would find them like the weirdest places. I think I found them like in the fridge one time, and he he didn't drink or anything like that, like nothing like crazy. And he lost his keys sometimes, but it was never like, oh, I put them in the fridge. Like, we would just find them weird places. And
are you sure I wasn't over any time around that?
Yeah, no, definitely.
That sounds like something I would do to somebody.
I mean, yeah, but like not. It wasn't anything like that. It was like in the middle of the work week. It was weird. We would just like have things happen, or like our furniture would be shifted, or like a chair would be pulled out, or everything would be knocked off the table. And then that time we didn't have cats, so it didn't make sense. Yeah, no, and our neighbors downstairs, like, they would fight, and when we first moved in, it was just like on occasion they would fight.
And you could also hear the fighting pretty clearly because they shared the fireplace had kind of like the same.
It was the same position. So basically their fireplace was our fireplace. So, which is standard for most apartments. But we almost lived in like it was connected, but it was like a townhouse-ish. Only the second floor was our apartment and the downstairs was their apartment. And I mean, it was two separate apartments, but we shared a garage. So that was it. The other thing is the garage was creepy as hell. Like, there was like writing on the wall. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it said whore, but they had like changed over some of them to like make it look like it said horse, but there was definitely where there would have been a W. Like, yeah, it was a whole thing.
Horse.
But that was there before we moved in. So, and that might have been the neighbors as well. Who knows? But as we lived there, their fighting escalated, and the weird things escalated as well. I remember there was one night, my roommate went to work, and I was on the couch. I was just watching TV. I wasn't really doing anything. And then the downstairs neighbors started fighting, like really fighting, like yelling, throwing things. And then my apartment almost seemed to start shaking. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like things were like vibrating almost. Not like earthquake, just like minimal like vibrating shaking. Like it was very weird. And we didn't really think of anything of it. But then my roommate started to have these really weird dreams, and we kept hearing knocking sounds, and I would hear people walking through my apartment when I was in my room, and like I said, we were on the second floor. There was nobody above me to walk around. We couldn't hear our neighbors downstairs walking. It was definitely someone like outside of my room. Like, at one point in time, I heard the front door open and close, and I was like, roommate?
Hello?
Hello? And then I FaceTimed him, and he was like, what's up? And I was like, oh, you're still at work. So, yeah. That was one of those I sat in the corner of my bed and watched YouTube videos all night till the morning. So, yeah. And it was like, if it had just been the nighttime, I would have thought it was my imagination, but things also happened during the day. It just wasn't as scary because it was the daylight. Like, I'm pretty sure the roommate at one point in time, like, heard somebody, like, walk up the staircase, but nobody came up. Yeah, it was just like, it was weird. It escalated. As the downstairs escalated, they started getting into, like, domestic violence issues, which is a whole other thing, and, like, oh my god, like, so much, so loud, and the activity seemed to start increasing. And we were getting ready to move out and go to another place, and, like, because my roommate was also suffering from really heavy depression during that time, and it just seemed to get worse as the stuff got worse. It was very, very odd. And he mentioned that his closet would open on its own, or like
it's just somebody doing something.
Doors opening on their own.
Yeah, we're next to a laundry room.
Yeah. So, like, he would hear things, and like the closet would open, or like he would think he would see something in it. So we kind of like got to the point where we're like, it's probably the closet, and or at least it stems from that. We don't really know. And I started having these dreams, and I don't like talking about it because it scares me still.
Yeah.
But I had this dream that I don't know if you know, but there's this phenomenon where if you're dreaming, you can't turn on lights. Mm-hmm. If lights are already on, they're going to be on. You can't turn them on if they're off. So I woke up in the dream, and I picked up my phone, which I usually have next to me, and tried to turn on. It wouldn't turn on, but it also wasn't dead. And I was like, oh, I must be dreaming. Usually once I reach that point, I will wake up. I never really have lucid dreams where I can control my dreams, or if I do, like, it just makes it all reality. I can never do anything fun because my brain's like, this is not real. So I got up, and like I said, there's no lights in my room, and my door was open, which my door's never open. As I said, I always closed it when I went to bed. So it was open, and I remember going towards my door, and I just see a figure by our sliding glass door, which is the entire way across the apartment, just standing there. But this figure is like close to almost 7 feet tall and like giant. And it just takes a step towards me. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And I'm like, I know how I can wake myself up. So in my dream, I make myself run to our front door, and our second floor was like this balcony entrance thing, and I had to go up 2 sets of stairs. And I'm terrified of falling. So I was like, in my dream, if I throw myself off this ledge, I'll wake up because that will scare me to wake. So it worked. I threw myself off, and I woke up, and I checked my phone, and it was still dark. I was still dreaming. Go to the door, it's now a little bit closer, and still stepping towards me, so I do it again. And I had this, like, I tried to wake myself up so many times in this dream. I think it was like 6-7 times that I tried to wake myself up, and I finally was able to, like, wrench myself out of REM sleep, looked at my phone, the light came on, and I just remember, like, sobbing. I was like, it was so scary. Like, I don't really have dreams that scare me. It's like I have dreams about the apocalypse all the time, or like other things, or like horror movies. That was the only time I truly felt like terror. I had that same dream the last week we were living there every single night. And the figure just kept getting closer. And it was awful. Because when we were moving, I had literally, like, I had just quit my job, night shift, and I had gotten my other job to work day shift. And I was transitioning over to sleeping during the night, so I consistently slept during the night, and I was just like, it was a lot. It was a lot. No, I wasn't transferring that time. I was still working night shift. I think I was off for, no, I was off for that week because I just graduated school. So I was having these nightmares every night for a week.
Yeah.
And then our audio just cut out. Hold on 1 second. Whoops. I think it's because you crossed your legs and pulled the... Yep.
Well, you know what? I wanted to be comfy.
You don't get to be comfy. There we go. Okay, sorry.
I'm back. No, we're not.
Sorry. New podcast issues.
Oh, no.
I'll just hold that there. You can put that one down. It's this one that's causing the issue.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I had this dream every night in a row, and I was terrified to go to sleep, but, like, you can't fight it, and I knew it would just get worse if I didn't. When we finally moved out, I didn't have the dreams anymore, thank God. And when we got our second apartment, like, the first night I was there, I had a dream. I woke up in my apartment, nothing would turn on, and I was like, no, it followed me. But there was, like, a voice. I don't know what the voice was. It sounded feminine, but it was just a voice that said, you're okay. You're safe. And I was like, oh, okay. I went back to sleep in my dream.
Oh, thanks, lady.
Thanks, voice.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was probably the most terrifying. I mean, it probably doesn't sound that terrifying when I talk about it over the podcast and stuff, but like it was scary. Like I had never really felt terror as much as I did that night.
God. I remember
those
when
nights.
you first told me about that too. It would get to the point where that shadow figure was like in your door frame.
It was
your
getting
bedroom, and you
threw myself out the window.
Yeah, like just
nope. Bye. Yeah.
So,
but it was like it wanted to keep me in those dreams because I started like throwing myself off of things and then all of a sudden landing in the trees, which is not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So also those noises in the background of my dad going in and out of the garage. I live with my parents, just so you know, because living on your own is hard. That's not a joke. It is. It's expensive, and I'm in school, and I can't afford it. So they graciously allowed me to move home.
Work.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was really not fun. And like, I know there's a lot of study about things manifesting in your dreams and like doing that, and it's just, oh god, I don't like it. It was not fun. It was a terrifying apartment. I recommend nobody live there, but I'm not gonna tell you where it is. So.
No, I remember like spending the night there sometimes because, shocker, we've had sleepovers for.
It'll just happen. I think it's. Just keep talking. I'm gonna deal with this. The audio's still going. It's just you can't hear it.
Sorry, we're still figuring it out. You know,
it all
after
works.
the first podcast. It's still.
It just doesn't want to stay in. There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful. Anyway, back to the story. Ooh. That was fun.
You would sleep over at my apartment.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yep.
I mean, like, you know, the apartment was, it sucked because, like, the apartment was awesome. But
I think you spent one night on our couch.
Yeah.
And then anytime you stayed over afterwards, you're like, hey, can I sleep in your bed with you?
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember, like, having a really hard time falling asleep because I would just stare at the fireplace.
Yeah.
And, like...
The apartment was also very loud with nothing happening. Mm-hmm. That was the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
And my sister, whenever she came over, she would just get so angry about, like, the smallest things. And she's not really an angry person. But she would just get so mad and start, like, fighting with me. Like, to the point she didn't want to come in. But nobody could really explain why.
No, yeah.
Until I started having those dreams. Then I was like, there's something in the apartment. I'm glad we're leaving. And it definitely wanted us to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I get the feeling that it was something that was just kind of, like, manifested from so much anger and tension, and then...
It definitely was one of the things. My roommate called it an imp. Said that it was just, like, messing with us, moving things. But I feel like as our downstairs neighbors escalated, it got power, is what I want to say. Like, the manifestation of anger.
Fed off of chaos.
Yeah.
Which is a really common theme throughout multiple different cultures.
Sorry, I'm petting my cat.
But, yeah. So, I don't know. I think there is credence to entities feeding off of negative energy or
positive
because,
or whatever.
Yeah, just especially feelings of anger or fear and just chaos in general, because those are really powerful feelings. And, you know, if something is spawned from those feelings and becomes aware of itself and is like, hey, so what I'm getting here is, like, I feel really great when there's a lot of angry or chaotic energy. And I think I need that to survive. So what if I create more chaotic energy so that I can survive? Excellent. Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Great.
Yeah. So that's just my opinion on that. But yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we just had really odd things happen.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, so I have a lot of friends who I talk about ghost stories with, or like just weird things that we can't explain. or have a hard time explaining. So I have a lot of stories from other people, like so many, because I just love talking about this stuff, and I love getting the ideas of experiences of other people, kind of like tying together all the things, all the information that I get. As far as my own experiences, they're weird in that they sound like they're all completely, you're totally able to contribute them to something else, other than something supernatural or spiritual, and
or their plot lines from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, God. I don't know. I also think that it's definitely a thing for people to. Oh, sorry, I'm shifting in my chair. I don't know how to do sound things yet.
I mean, these chairs are also loud, so thanks.
Anyway, I do. Yeah, it's totally a thing where somebody could, like, you get the idea that there's something behind you, and then you just kind of like build it up and build it up and build it up in your head until you get those, you create those sensations for yourself. Like, it gets to the point where, that anxiety builds up. Hello, dryer.
No, that's the garage door.
Oh, well, that's how well I know your house. Yeah, it just gets to the point where your body will create those sensations for you, because for one reason or another, either because you really do want to believe that it's there, or you've psyched yourself up so much that it wants to prepare you for that.
Your body goes into fight or flight.
Absolutely. So I believe that's definitely a thing. But I don't know. I don't know. Like,
you want to talk about the mirror?
I mean, like, yeah. So, my family and I have moved around a lot. Like, I lived with my parents and my younger sister. And in one of the houses that we lived in, it was a 2-story house, and
nice house.
Yeah, good gig, yeah, 2-story house, and so there was just a lot going on in that house. The way that we kind of had it set up was my bedroom was actually like a converted sort of family room, sort of entertainment area, kind of.
I mean, you had 4 walls and a door, so it was a room.
It was large though. It was a larger room, which that was nice.
You were also the only one downstairs.
Mm-hmm, yeah. For not the entire time. There was a point in time where my cousin and her significant other at the time lived with us. That's beside the point. But yeah, my room was the only one downstairs. All the rest of the rooms were upstairs. And the way that it was kind of set up was you go upstairs and then you hang a right, and then there's the living room. And then if you just kind of like keep going around and hang another right, you go down the hallway that has all the bedrooms that go to it.
It was kind of an oddly put together house.
It seemed like it had one specific setup, and then somebody just added something else on top of it, and then somebody else added another thing on top of that, and then like somebody else added a garage. Like, it just looked like it was made of like house Legos. Yeah.
Somebody had 3 different sets of house and put them all together.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so my sister and I would usually go upstairs to watch TV in the living room. So from the living room, the way that we had our TV set up is that the couch was on the far back wall, so you looked at the TV, and if you just looked to the left, you could look right down the hall. Mm-hmm. And my sister's room, of course, was always colder than the rest of the house. It never, like, it didn't matter how much we messed with the thermostat, like, her room was just always freezing cold.
Like, significantly different than the rest of the house. Not just, like, by, like, a few degrees, like, 10 or more degrees difference.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were definitely during the winter, but there were a couple nights where she would go in, or like my mom would go into her room and just be like, I could see my breath in her room.
Yeah, it was very cold.
God, yeah. So, I just remember sitting in the living room, and there have been quite a few things that have happened already in this house. But I think the breaking point for me was when I was sitting in the living room just watching some stupid TV show, probably SpongeBob. And I looked down the hall, just kind of like glance over, and my sister's door is open just a smidge, and you can just kind of see this heart-shaped mirror that we got from my great grandmother. And like it was definitely an older mirror, and not not the highest quality, but like it's something. Yeah, it was something for me and my family that when we looked at it, we're like, that's their great grandma. That's her. She was awesome.
Heirlooms, antiques, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the way that most of my family would describe her is like she was very religious and like not very strict religious. She was just like her and God were like BFFs. Like they were besties.
Yep.
I
act like I know.
Yeah, you never met her. She passed away before we became friends, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just like I just remember sitting there and just like not being able to get my mind off of that mirror. I could not stop thinking about it, and it took every ounce of willpower that I had to just not look at it. But I wanted to look at it, and I was too terrified to look at it at the exact same time.
I was drawing you in.
Yeah, it was awful. And like, yeah, even now, like I'm probably getting red because I'm Irish and Scottish, and that's just what happens.
Yeah. It was definitely a weird mirror.
Yeah, but the weird part is that mirror is not what the problem was. And it does have like a pretty happy ending in that nobody got hurt, but also that we kind of got to the bottom of what this was. And it was definitely that it was not that mirror. That mirror was actually probably acting as more of a protection, because I told my mom and my sister. My dad was always like, I don't believe that. You really believe in that stuff? Kind of a thing. So
accurate description of how your father talks.
Yeah. And I talked to my mom and my sister about it, and they're like, well, I guess we got to get rid of that thing. So I'm going to go out and throw it out right now. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds good. So we went and threw it out. And then everything got worse. And my sister started
significantly worse.
Yeah, she started hearing things talking to her.
And your sister doesn't believe in this stuff.
She does.
Now.
Yeah.
But like at that time.
Yeah, no, she was young.
She also thought you were being weird. So.
What?
With the whole stuff.
Oh.
Your mom was the one that believed you more than anything else.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. What did you think I meant?
I was like, okay, hold up. Were there times where like I was like possessed or something?
No.
And I was like acting weird because, I would stare at the wall for 3 hours just going,
No, you weren't staring at the wall. You were staring at something else.
I'm so lost right now. What's going on?
Taylor Lautner?
Shut up. I don't want to talk about that right now.
That's
okay?
a story for another day.
This is a different story for a different day.
Anyway, so Mom got rid of the mirror.
Yeah. My sister started hearing things talking to her. I don't remember if she said what they were or like what they said. I
don't even think she remembers.
I don't know. We haven't talked about it in a long time. So
she was also, like I said, very young. So
yeah, she was really young. I think she was. Let's see. I was 15-ish. So
11. No, that's too close.
She was probably about like 8. 9. So she was young. But then it got to the point where my parents' room was across the hall from hers. And I remember my mom explaining to me that there was one night where, same thing as my fiance, like just kind of like when you just kind of open your eyes a little bit around like 2 or 3 a.m. and
the witching hour.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you just kind of like open your eyes a little bit, and she just kind of like felt like something was standing next to the bed, and it felt small. So she was just kind of like, she just half asleep, was just cooked this up in her mind that like it felt like it was probably like the ghost of some small child that saw how my mom attended to my sister and was looking for a mom, and so she was just kind of like, I'm not your mom. And like, just kind of like,
no, I have enough children.
No. And then it got, and this can easily be explained by, sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But she felt a weight on her chest after that.
Oh, yeah.
Super heavy weight on her chest. And I mean, it's so creepy, but like, I can't help but laugh every time.
Standing up on it.
Oh, you swooped down. Look at you.
I usually say hate small children. I don't hate small children. I hate small children in a scary story.
I hate small children.
They're so creepy.
I hate small children in like scary contexts because I'm like, no, little girls, bad idea anytime.
Yeah.
And little boys too, but for whatever reason, people try to capitalize.
Come play with us. Shining.
Yes, of course it's the Shining.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's kind of almost like where the concept comes from. It's like
yeah,
the little, like, girl at the end of the hallway, like, hi. Like, yeah, just. Yeah. So.
Anyway. Yeah, heavy weight on her chest. I can't help but laugh every single time I think about this because, I mean, and this was just her, like, half asleep, initial reaction. She was terrified. She didn't know what to do. She was probably going through sleep paralysis or whatever. But her first reaction, because she couldn't move her arms because they were pinned to her sides, was just to go, just try to, like, blow this thing off of her chest because it's all she could do. And then it eventually went away, but like, I just, like, oh yeah, I get so giggly every single time I just think about my mom like doing that. It was terrifying. If I had gone through that, then I would probably do the same thing. But
yeah.
Well,
if you have nothing to do, like, the only thing you can move is your head, like...
Yeah. Well,
that's also, like, such your mom response. Like, oh, can't move my arms. Guess I'm just gonna, like,
anything I need to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not call out to your husband or anything like that. No, blow it off your chest.
She's a strong, independent woman, okay?
She don't need no man.
She's actually, like, she's really scary. She's a tiny, red-headed, angry Irish lady. Anyway. It's a story for another time. I hope she doesn't watch that part because she might get mad at me.
She's not angry. She just can be angry.
Yeah. She's a very sweet woman. She really is. Yeah. I like your man. But anyway, back to the, spoopy stuffs. Yeah, so stuff just got even worse. And I don't remember how we connected that it was probably this other mirror in her room, but we did. And it was this kind of, it was in the style of a very large vanity mirror that was connected to a dresser that she had. And I think my mom just put a really heavy blanket over it. Yeah. And then almost instantaneously, the temperature went up. Yeah, the room got warm. Yeah, not to a regular degree. It just went up enough where you could feel a difference and it wasn't frigid anymore. Yeah. But then, my sister could sleep better. Things weren't talking to her anymore. Well, yeah, so... Yeah. That worked for a while. I don't know what happened, but it just kind of got to the point where it just didn't work anymore. And so then I was a very avid Christian at the time. Well, I mean, okay, like, I was okay with swearing, though. Also, I mean, yeah, I'm, like, definitely, part of the rainbow people. Yeah. It's just, you were raised that way. Yeah. You went to church and had youth group and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm, yeah. So, I enjoyed youth group. Yeah. Cool people. But, then high school happened. Well, no, this was in high school.
No, I know, but later high school years happened.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's another story for another time.
It's not really a story. It's just as you grow older, your philosophies and ideas change as you think more about the world. So, anyway,
Brandon,
avid Christian.
I was so pissed off at this point at the fact that these things were terrorizing my tiny sister, and so I just storm in, Bible in hand, just reciting the only Bible verse I've ever known, which is just the basic John 3:16, which is the whole, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, and those who shall believe in him or follow him, whatever, basically give your life to Jesus. Yeah. Shall not perish but have eternal life, kind of a deal.
You did better than I ever would. I've read the Bible 3 times, so
I did not know that about you. Very impressed.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it make sense. That's another story. That's another.
We'll have an episode about religion and spirituality. Maybe. That's even more than what this. Okay, maybe, but
that's a whole hole I don't really want to go down. But
I just I don't know, because I just saw the basic. You run into a room
I know
with the
this
Bible
verse.
And you say a Bible verse, and then all the demon boys go, "Ah, Jesus!" Yeah. So I was just like, I'm doing what I know works. I've seen it on TV plenty of times, and it just got to the point where I was just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like this isn't working. So I just I got really mad and was just kind of trying to tell these things off in my language, just kind of saying,
fuck off.
Yeah, what the hell? You're picking on a tiny child? You're that pathetic that you're gonna pick on this tiny child and, whisper to her in her sleep? What the fuck? Pick on someone your own size. Whatever you are.
Which, never say that to anything like that.
Well, it worked, so...
I know it worked, but,
not forever. It worked for, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was...
you guys kept... Well, not you guys. Your family kept that thing for so long until they eventually moved away from the state. And they asked you...
we got rid of the mirror part.
Yeah.
After we moved from that house, and then we lived in, I think, one more house after that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I know, I remember them asking you if you wanted it, and you were like, nope.
I know, it was specifically my mom would not ask, because she knew.
Yeah.
But my dad was just kind of like, oh, no, no. He didn't have a stroke while he started talking. I did. Sorry. No, he was just like, oh, shouldn't waste a good mirror. Oh, do you want it? And I'm just like,
because I think you also wanted a full-length mirror, and it was pretty big.
I did want a full-length mirror. Yeah. Not that one.
Yeah. And she was like, nope.
And then he's like, he just kind of, I remember him giving me this look,
it's
you really believe
mirror.
in all, no, I specifically remember he said, you really believe in all that stuff? And I was just kind of like, yup. That was it.
You're like, you can keep the demon mirror.
Do you want to keep it? And my mom was like, nope.
Yeah. I don't like mirrors. Not because, I don't really like the way I look in general, but that's not why I don't.
Did you say you don't like the way you look in general?
Yeah. Don't look at me like that. It's self-deprecating humor. Anyway, that's not why I don't like mirrors. I don't like mirrors because I feel like... No, that's you, but that's okay.
Shut the fuck up. I love you.
I always, it's one of those things, I've always had this fear that whenever I look in a mirror, I think the person that's in the mirror is going to do something that I'm not doing. So that's always freaked me out, so I've never really enjoyed mirrors.
Why do you have to put that in my brain?
It's a common horror theme, but, yeah, I just don't like them. I just never know what the other person's going to do, even though I know it's fully where that's me. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like mirrors can be portals, in a way. And that was one of the few mirrors that I've ever encountered that I was like, ooh, no.
That's what's happening.
So,
that's what this
a friend of yours also had some stuff happening, and I went over to their house, and I was like, it's this mirror that you bought at a thrift store. And we took the mirror away, and he broke it, and threw it away in somebody else's trash can.
Yeah.
And then the stuff stopped.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want to go into that?
We're getting a little late now. We should probably wrap it up. So
we got lots of ghost stories.
We do. We can always do more of these. Not next time. That's too many in a row. But yeah, we always have time for more spooky shit.
Always the spookies.
Anyway, but thank you for joining us for our first Slumber Party podcast.
Oh,
we appreciate you. We've had a good time, and we hope to see you next week.
And we can, I mean, you can play it out now, but we hope that you have a wonderful day, and we hope you have a wonderful slumber party in the future. Thank you for listening to our scary stories. Scary slumber party stories.